When you went home, did you put that goal on a diagram or anything like that?
How do I answer that question? Did I put it on the diagram? Well, no, because goals don't go on you don't draw diagrams on the squad. What is that question?
In my opinion, how to break them down. It hasn't come to fruition this season, but why should anybody watching this right now buy into what's being said here about the confidence going into this game?
You know, we're the underdogs, and I don't mind that tag. They've got everything to lose, and we're not expected to win.
What am I calling them? Ponds or Northwest?
Did you guys approach that 𝙃𝙍𝙍𝙍 game differently to the way you approached the Eastern Creek game? Because I think people expected you to win that one.
As a unit, if we get up for it and we play our good football, I don't think anyone can beat us.
It's very, very hard for me to answer that because I don't know what their brains go through sometimes, to be honest. If I want to be true honest about it.
It's kind of, it's a tough question to answer. I just think
I'm going to have to say Mariong.
Tell me why.
They just get those grubby goals at the end.
I like how Workers try and play football through the middle of the park, and I think they're one of the best teams at doing it when they can put that together.
My prediction is he will be gone in the first 20 minutes. He'll get himself sent off. But yeah.
Give me the Town Rangers, boys, after they have in fact been promoted. Boys, keep your voices nice and loud. Blake Morris, immediate reaction, a smashing victory. You did it in reserves, you did it in first. Give me your reaction to it.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic achievement for the club. It's something personally that I've been trying to do for a long time, and I found my home in terms of building something that can be dangerous again across the whole district. And I'm just super proud of the club, the boys, and our families as well. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You've tracked Blake throughout a couple of clubs now. You did the job in Rezzies. You've stuck around and helped create an atmosphere for first grade as well. Simon, what does it mean to you to be going up to PL1 next year?
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? But no, I think we said it earlier in the interviews, we've built up a great squad here, both across reserve grade, first grade and 21s as well. I think we've seen it as well. The unit here, everyone gets around each other, as you can probably tell from my voice as well. So I'm really proud of the boys, and it's one that they've deserved all year as well.
Chris, there are some major changes midway through the season. Some boys left, some boys joined in. Some of those boys that joined in late were really, really key tonight. Just a word as one of the leadership figures in the team on behalf of some of the boys that joined in, what an impact they made throughout the season.
I mean, you just saw today where we got Dan in the midfield, the number 10 role. We desperately needed him. You just carried us. I think that's what we needed. A bit more energy, a bit more flair. Like I said in the first podcast, we were aiming for promotion and we got it. And we got on Saturday, we got to finish the job.
Jared, speaking of podcasts, between the first and the second one, there was a bit of a change in how you approached it. You said you needed to lock back in, basically, to summarise some of the answers to your question, to the questions I asked you. And it looks like you really did that. You capitalised on people dropping points elsewhere. You know, what did you guys learn after that second podcast interview that we did? And you reckon it's applied?
100%. Like, game management was what we were drilled into it. Game management is what we wanted to do. And I feel like everyone wrote us off. Like, we were dropping points, we were having draws. Everyone wrote us off. But we stuck through it, we got to the end, and here we are, back to PL1.
Blake, final one for you. Finals coming up. How important for you to stick with the task at hand? You know, winning some more silverware, or are you happy with what you've done so far, and that's the end of the season now?
Yeah, definitely not the end of the season. But we have to be grateful for the blessings that we've done and the achievements. You know, this year for a program, in 2 years we got 2 minor premierships, we're club championships now, and I think for us, for the club, it's just about enjoying the next steps and spreading the word as far as we can that we're here to stay.
Thanks very much, boys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome back to the Blacktown Premier League podcast. My name is Marco De Poli, and leave a like if you are keen for finals football. We are there. Everything has been decided in a PL1 context. We know what we're in for. 3rd v 4th, Ponds v Workers. 1st v 2nd with a ticket straight to the grand final, Mariong and 𝙃𝙍𝙍𝙍. It's who we all expected to be there. Now we're finally here. 6 months in the making, finals football is upon us, and every single match of the round that we have between now and the end of the season will be a knockout contest. Once again, leave a like if you're excited, and cue the intro music.
Here come Workers! Oh!
but it's fallen here towards 𝙃𝙍𝙍𝙍!
Oh my word.
To find her teammate in Izzy Grant! And now played and struck and in! People, Ryan Dominici! Further forward now, Tagira!
We're all ready to play, and yeah, we'll go out and smoke it this time.
Interestingly enough, I finished my conversation with Pons, as in recording the podcast, I reckon about 40 minutes ago. They're currently still in a video session right now. Obviously, I'm not revealing too much because I don't know what the heck's going on in there, but Pons in first grade especially, their resis are just their training, but their first grade's in there with a video session. I have no idea what it's about. I promise you I haven't sat in on it. But to know that they're in there and they've been in there for such a long amount of time, something's brewing this weekend. I don't know what, but considering the chase for Golden Boot between the two star strikers of the two teams that are playing in the match of the round, this video session, potentially a wet field, Maddie Hubbard's potential last game, I mean, heck, the storylines are endless. And once again, to guide you through the fires and the flames is your saviour, Mark DePoli. We'll look at some of the highlights of the match of the round game while we go through some results. It'll be a quick run through because I want to get to the interviews as quick as we can. So, of course, last night there was a chance for Ahmed Badat to go outright in the Golden Boot because he went equal with Fardod Sanjikani. And if you don't know, I won't spoil it for you yet, but in fact, Workers did win 3-1 over Quakers Hill Tigers. In the regular games on Saturday, though, of course, in the match of the round, we'll start with Workers won 4-2 over Bologna. Marion had the last round bye. Eastern Creek did as much as they could to get as close as they can to the finals football with a 3-1 win over Riverston. Goals in that game for Mitch King, another for Pius Baraji. Great to see, and Liam Hamilton score from the spot. Jaden Snowden got himself sent off, funnily enough. Doonside beat Pons 1-0, which is one of the craziest games because if you look at the lineups, it was not a Doonside first grade team. And don't worry, I ask all the tough questions to Pons in the interview coming up later on in this episode. Byron Grandemain scoring the only goal of the game in that one. And of course, the game that put Quakers Hill Tigers in the relegation playoff spot was handed to them by their crosstown geographical rivals, Quakers Hill Juniors, 2-1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a second yellow card to make it 8 yellow cards distributed in the match to round out what was a pretty interesting afternoon at BFP 4. In fact, there were so many yellow cards that the referees forgot to input the goal scorers in the game, but I do know that the goal that they conceded to essentially relegate them or put them in the relegation playoff spot was a rebound off of an own goal. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that's generally what it was. It was an own goal of some sort. Rather unfortunate and heartbreaking for them. Let's go look at the PL2 teams. Now, of course, there are still some matches happening tonight and tomorrow, of course. As you know, Spurs will take on Glenwood. That's a bit of a dead rubber in that one, but Newbury will take on Blacktown St Pat's, and that will assure, of course, Newbury in their first automatic promotion spot if it is to happen. But in the regular results, Spurs on a tear at the end of the season, undefeated in the last month of the season, 4-1 over St Pat's, who have had an unfortunate season. Newbury Bulls tying 2-2 next to the Quakers derby, by the way, actually playing on an adjacent field. That was 2-2 in that one. Let's have a look at some of the goal scorers in that. Oakville, by the way, remaining undefeated with a win and now a draw over Newbury this year. The bogey team, if Newbury don't pull their socks up. Joel Sikovits picked up 2 goals to go 2-0 up inside 20 minutes. Ethan Desange pulled one back before Pranesh Gounder equalised to make it 2-2. Prospect beat Minchinbury. A massive, massive game here. Prospect beating Minchinbury 4-2. Prospect went up 3-0 before Blake Curry scored 2, including a penalty to bring it back within contention 3-2. But then late in the game, Jafar Amin, again off the back of his match of the round goal a couple of weeks ago, scores an 85th minute cherry on top game to take it away from their opponents. That is the state of our league, and that is flipping awesome. Holroyd winning 9-0 over Norwest, and every single other game was washed out and has had to be rescheduled. So Holroyd have, of course, won the minor premiership now. Congratulations to them as we bring the focus back in here. Hope you enjoyed the highlights package of the match of the round games. But Holroyd have now done it 2 out of the last 3 years. Can they turn that 2 into a double and make it 2 doubles? In as many as 3 years. An incredible women's footballing program has formed and has blossomed there in Holroyd. Who would have thunk it? Right, is it time for some interviews? Because I most certainly think it is. We're going to go first to Workers. Did Ahmed Badat get his golden boot? Wait till the end of the interview with them and you will see whether it happened or not. Don't spoil it. Don't go and look at dribble. Wait till the end. See you then.
So, Ibby, after your comments on the last podcast, you went on to lose 7-2. How do you feel about that?
We think a little chat with Workers is due after their incredible comeback match of their own victories to secure top 4 ahead of their last game of the season, which is being played here tonight on a catch-up on Tuesday. Boys, thanks very much for joining me, as well as Jace, who's joining, and Ibby as well, who's got the mic. Ibby, it's a knockout match against your old club, against a team that you had a match of the round earlier against in the season. Are you up for this one against Ponds?
Oh, I think we are. We've been building throughout the year. We've had ups and downs, but the main priority is to make it into the top 4, and anything can happen from here on out.
Taylor, let's talk the match of the round before we talk history against Ponds. The first 20 or 30 minutes, I thought Polonia were probably the better team, and then you got a goal, your second one against them in consecutive games this season. You got a knack for scoring goals against the Rams. What do you think happened in that first 20 or 30 minutes? You guys didn't really come to the party.
Yeah, I just think, again, another slow start. Been a bit of a story of our season so far. We probably identified what they were doing, but we just didn't make any changes, I guess, until half-time, which obviously catapulted our comeback, which we saw in the second half. It was a bit of a game of two halves, but credit where it's due. They did start quite well. Things were kind of going their way, but again, I think we were confident once we got the ball rolling. We knew we could come back and win the game.
That's what did happen. Jason, I guess you grab that microphone all the way down there. Welcome back to the podcast. Been over 18 months now at this point, I think. With the scoreline being 2-1 heading into half-time, obviously there was a controversial penalty given. They had a goal chalked off that I think was absolutely not controversial at all, in my so experienced and humble opinion. But, 2-1, did that flatter you guys at all, or did you feel like you were starting to build towards the break?
I think we were starting to build towards the break. We just got together at half-time and changed a few things, and it worked.
So what kind of things were said? Because as we've just spoken about off camera, a couple of things tactically tweaked. So what are you willing to reveal here on the podcast in front of the audience?
Just that we wanted to win more of the ball up their end. More it's up their end and less down our end. More chances you got to score.
And that certainly happened. Ahmed, equaling Golden Boot. Tonight, in my opinion, it's really about you. I kind of wish this was a live stream game to see you get the biscuits. Look, let's start with the pen, well placed. I said I compared it to the Riverston one. It was even better into that top corner. But the second goal is delightful. The touch away from the defender is amazing. A defender who was getting praised all night by my co-commentator. And then you did really well to get past him. And you slotted it away really well. You go equal. Tell me about that feeling, because it was the 3-2 goal. It's the winning goal in the end, and it's the one that puts you level on that Golden Boot race.
Yeah, look, for me, I think the most important thing was it being the leading goal. Obviously, getting that win was the most important thing for us as a team, putting us into finals. So that was where the joy was coming from.
When you went home, did you put that goal on a diagram or anything like that?
How do I answer that question? Did I put it on the diagram? Well, no, because goals don't go on you don't draw diagrams on the squad. You don't. What is that question? What is that question?
It wasn't meant to be taken
seriously. Did I put that on a diagram? Yeah,
no,
whatever.
Don't think about it too much.
Yes,
your brain will explode.
I did, yeah.
I'll reel it back in. Again, the good thing about this question is you had the chance to rectify it tonight. There's a chance on 89 minutes. I don't know if you've watched it back. It's tough. If you have watched it back, or if you do remember it, would you change how you approached that final chance?
Would I change how I approached it? Yeah. I would have scored it if I could. If I could have changed it. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. This is a great moment of reflection of the podcast.
Yeah.
Danny, look, your job tonight is to feed Ahmed and get him this outright Golden Boot. I'm sure he wants to do it in his debut season and cap off a great season for him and for you as well, being up there in that Player of the Year contention, as I mentioned to you last time. Do you have a particular plan in place to make tonight happen for him?
I think it'll just happen, to be honest with you. Like, it's happened all year for him. I don't think we have to change much tonight.
Jason, I've got to ask you, if Ahmed wasn't in Golden Boot contention, what would you be doing with your squad tonight? Would you be playing a 21s team, a Resi's team? Because it's such an awkward time. It's a Tuesday. You don't want injuries. You come up against a team that you don't know how they'll approach it. Will they be angry? Will they be frustrated? Will they just sort of not care? What's your mindset heading into this one outside of the Golden Boot race?
Well, we're resting a few boys anyway. They're on so many yellows. So bring in a few Resis, bring in first grade and 21s, bit of a mix. Still going to be a competitive team, and we're going out to win.
Ibby, let's talk more about ponds. That's what we really want to spend some time talking about. Look, this season it's 14-4 on aggregate, but as was incorrectly mentioned on the live stream, ponds have gone down to workers before. There was a match of the round where that happened. I just want to know, you're probably the best person to talk about this, alongside Karim, who's not here at the moment, but is you being in this workers team an advantage for you and your team, because you sort of know how they play, you know how they go into finals games, you know the dark arts. Is that an advantage, do you think?
I think so. Like, I'm always going to back myself in terms of, no matter who I play for, I'm always going to give 100%, and I hope that I give something to the team. And obviously, the fact that we're versing Ponds is significant. Knowing some of their players, knowing how they play, knowing the fact that, being in finals with them for the last, 5 years, I know, obviously, how, in my opinion, how to break them down. It hasn't come to fruition this season, but it's just been round games. And at the end of the day, this is the most important game, which is coming up on the weekend. And I think we're good enough, no matter whoever's playing, to come away with the win.
I certainly believe that, because I've seen what you guys can do. I've seen the fight back in the match round. But Danny, look, considering that the aggregate score is 14-4, you don't have a great record going back a couple of years against Ponds. Like, why should anybody watching this right now buy into what's being said here about the confidence going into this game? Because it's not seen that way in performances against them.
Look, it's on the night, whoever turns up. And I think on our day, we know when we do turn up, we can beat anyone. So that's the way we're going to look at it. We're going to take it game by game with this final series. Hopefully we can go all the way, and yeah.
Look, you're a number 6, for example. You're very capable as an 8. I'm sure you could play 10 as well, so you're good all through the midfield. I tend to think of you as more of like an attacking number 6, in sort of like you'll push up into high spaces when in possession. Is there any chance we might see you play a bit more defensively? Because they have had a knack of sort of getting in behind your defence, and maybe if you sit, you'll be able to stop them. What can you reveal about what your plan is personally?
I think I've played a few positions this year, and I think it hasn't really worked out for the team, especially. I think I'm probably best suited in the 6, so I think I'm probably going to be there on the weekend, I assume. But it's all going to depend on who's playing with us, and yeah, we're going to get the win.
I'm sure you will want to. Taylor, I'll go to you. I think most people, knowing the context of Ďounside's starting 11 on the weekend, expected you to be playing against Ďounside come this finals round. And I think, considering all things, like your record against Ponds, the record in the first week of finals, and then also your record against Ďounside this season, I mean, undefeated, including a win, I'm sure there was probably a chance you wanted to play them instead. So what was the reaction before the match of the round from this team when you guys found out that you'd be playing against Ponds, who maybe you shouldn't have?
Yeah, surprised a little bit. I think a few of the boys mentioned the lineups and noticed that Dooney were missing a few players. So naturally, I think we just thought, coming off the loss the week before against Marion, Ponds would probably get the upper hand. And within the squad, I think a couple of boys mentioned maybe preferencing to play Ďounside. But myself, honestly, I was happy to play Ponds. As Danny said last week, we would have to beat them anyway to win the comp. And, whether you go out first semi, second semi, or lose the grand final, it doesn't matter because you haven't won it. So I'm happy to take them on first game. I think they might have been looking a bit far forward. I think on the potty a few weeks ago, they had second wrapped up and club championship still in sight. So at the end of the day, as Ibby said, the last 2 results mean nothing if we go and knock them out this week. And that's what we plan on doing. So,
yep, football comes around pretty fast. Ahmed, you've scored a hat-trick against Ponds in years gone by. You're a complete striker. Look, history tells us that you'll be coming into this probably with a golden boot outright to your name tonight. As long as it goes well for you, you're going to be in flying form, and you're going to need to be. You've picked up goals against this team already this season. what do you think, from a striker's perspective, is the key to breaking down what will be, a Matt Hubbard-less Ponds team?
I think the issue for us isn't so much breaking down. I feel like it'll be keeping out. As we've shown kind of in the games prior against them. So I think, to be honest, that's where our focus will be. I think we back ourselves going forward as a team. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay. So the key is to just keep scoring the way you have previously, like the 4 goals you have picked up against them this year, and then obviously to sit stronger defensively, I guess?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Jace, I go to you again. Karim was their coach last year. He scored a match of the round goal. He was very good in the reserve grade catch-up game this time last week. And he obviously knows this squad of players really well. Now he's come to you guys. Looks like he's getting back to his best after the ACL tear. So is there a chance we, see him become a star in this finals game? But is there a potential for that? What can you reveal?
Oh, there is, but you'll just have to wait and see.
I'm very impatient,
All right?
Jace.
But all I can say is, we're the underdogs. And I don't mind that tag. They've got everything to lose. And we're not expected to win. So it's just going out there, doing our best. And so there we go.
Just wanted to mention as well, so Mackenzie, recognised centre-back, came off the bench late. Blake Ford, sort of makeshift now pretty often a centre-back in years gone by. He was playing right wing. Ibi came off the bench late in the game as well to get a couple of minutes in the rain. These are some big name players who are not playing in positions we're sort of familiar with, but obviously you guys got a 4-2 win and secured finals ahead of time. So what's the story there with the rotation? Obviously Mackenzie, big signing at the start of the year, for example, but didn't start.
With Mackenzie, just been come off injury with his groin, but all the other boys, mate, great players, can play anywhere.
Okay.
So
I'm looking for a prediction as we head into the match of the round this weekend. Obviously, we want to start. Let's just give the microphone straight to Ibi because he looks so excited to do so, and he's been red hot with the predictions so far heading into this one.
What am I calling him? Ponds or Norwest?
I think you just did the trick there.
Nah, look, it's going to be a tough game. We're going to be obviously backs against the wall. I think we'll win in penalty shootouts.
Break the hoodoo.
Yeah.
I just want to go off the back of that.
Train on Thursday.
Yeah, Pens. Take it all the way.
I'm pretty sure you guys did last year and it didn't help out. Danny, just to being serious, I wanted to go to you. This is a question I have asked teams before, and that is if the season was to end this weekend, I don't want you to sort of pretend. I want you to pretend like it does end this season. What's your reflection on the season if it was to end in that way at that point?
Overall, disappointing, I think. Like, coming into it, I think we probably thought we'd be able to probably get top 2, but ultimately we're in the finals. We're here where we wanted to be, so yeah.
Kind of like you rung true last week as well. But also on top of that, if you were to break this hoodoo, come up against a team that you've struggled against this season and beat them, how would that change the way you think about this season, do you think?
Oh, I would paper over some cracks, I think, for sure. Like, a win against these guys would be pretty special. Sorry.
Oh, you keep it in.
That's
so,
bleep
isn't it?
Bleep it. Yeah, bleep it. Do you want to ask it again or just keep going?
No, just keep going.
What did I say again? Pretty special.
Special,
yeah. I don't know where to go from there.
I think the passion is pretty obvious. I'm going to wrap it up there, boys. Thanks very much for coming here. I know you've got to get to some warm-ups now. Best of good luck with your golden boot chasing tonight. I'm sure you're going to get plenty of balls fed your way. And I appreciate you guys braving the cold and being here and doing this again. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
Done. Thank you.
The golden boot.
You would have scored a hat trick if it weren't today. Sign it right there. Big one, big signature.
I can reveal to you that a couple of conversations happened with workers before the interview where we were sort of assessing what I said about them last week. about their body language and the prospect of making the finals and a review of their season. And they kind of almost went into this match of the interview with a bit of a jovial tone, probably because they'd secured, well, at least secured 𝙃𝙍𝙏𝙀𝙏, as you know, a golden boot now. Congratulations to him, by the way. That video and that spray-painted shoe is, again, that's awesome. But they were kind of more jovial because they'd secured finals by that point and they knew who they were playing, and they were kind of sort of just mindset was set on the task at hand now, which was obviously getting past Tigers unscathed, as in no injuries, and then assessing how they take on Ponds. But I still think there's a pretty strong hint of nervousness coming out of those boys. And I'm surprised by the way that former Ponds representative 𝙃𝙍𝙍𝙍𝙍 approached the answers to that very last question that I asked him. But power to him, he's a braver man than me. I can promise you that. I would not be going anywhere near that. I mean, realistically, if you're in the Premier League in England, somebody saying, yeah, we're going to smack you because you all came from another team isn't going to motivate you because you're a professional footballer on X amount of money per week. But in local Premier League, where, the day can be determined by how soggy your Weet-Bix were in the morning, that's the kind of thing that motivates Ponds. And as a team that, as you're about to discover, I asked them about their motivations throughout the season and why sometimes they can drop the ball. That's the kind of comment that can come back to bite you. But again, 𝙃𝙍𝙍𝙍𝙍 is a braver man than me and by far a better footballer than me. Although, has he scored from outside the box in all-age men 7 with his left foot? I don't know. I think I need a break from podcasting. My quality is going through the floor. Anyway, let's go and talk to the Ponds boys. We literally set up right here about an hour ago. They're coming out of their video training session right now. Maybe they'll walk behind me and say hi. But, hey, Dodd, do you want to make a statement? Anyway, the Ponds first grade team finally arriving after a good bit of banter. They're in good spirits, as you can see. And a good-spirited Ponds is a Ponds that you should fear. Should we go and chat to them now, finally, in this match of the round interview? I think we should. Ponds are a lot of people's championship favourites across both grades this year, but to do it in first grade in a match of the round context, they'll need to win 3 matches in a row after finishing in 3rd place in the regular season. Got a host of wonderful players joining us here tonight. Very appreciative of all of you being here. But Matty Hubbard, let's go to you first. With Scotty Jackson leaving Ponds and going to Tigers, it gives you an opportunity to become the outright appearance maker, record holder in grand finals this season. You could go outright with 11 in a row. How much do you want to be part of that history, mate?
Yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. I think we definitely will be getting there this year, and I'm hoping we will win it this year because I've lost a few now in a row, so hopefully the tide changes this year and we actually win.
Ellie, more tailored to Ponds. I'll get you to grab that mic. You guys have made 5 in a row. Obviously, you want to make that 6. Full finals focus now. To get there, you'll need to beat Workers and then either Marion or Dooney, and then one of them again in the finals. You haven't beaten Marion or Dooney yet this season, but the best time to do it is in the latter parts of the year, of course. How are you making sure that, that you're avoiding looking too far ahead and making sure that focus is coming in on this Workers game? Because obviously you have a really good record against them, but how are you separating these 2 or 3 events?
Full focus is on this week. We're not looking past this week or anything. For me, like I said, we've got a training session coming up. We're going to go through everything we got to do for this weekend against Workers. Not looking too far, not looking at grand finals at the moment. We're just going week by week and just coming with the best attitude and best performance that we can give, because we play at our best. We know we'll give ourselves the best chance, and most of the times we will win their games when they're our best, but we just got to come with the right attitude for this weekend.
Aaron Avery, make sure you're in frame, my friend, because we're going to start calling you the cameraman with some of your good performances that you've got going on in the match of the rounds. Another top performance against Eastern Creek. That was really good. Another goal in consecutive match of the rounds. Obviously, your first match of the round goal came against Workers. I just wanted to ask you, you played a different position in that Eastern Creek game. What allowed you to operate so fluidly and still, even though being in a different part of the midfield, dominate the game?
I think all the boys knew their role, so it was pretty easy. We all worked together, we played similarly, so we kept the ball well, and it was, pretty easy transition into there.
Curveball for you. Again, I go back to Player of the Year conversations. Why do you think you deserve to be considered Blacktown's best of 2025?
I haven't really thought about it, but I think I've been fairly consistent. Had some good games. Hopefully it helped the team win, so yeah.
Well dealt with. That was not the easiest question. Connor, welcome to the podcast, my friend. First time for you. Get you to grab that mic. How have you found joining the Ponds environment? You came in after round 1. You've basically held a spot pretty much for the entire year. You be in Golden Glove contention, as we've just discussed off camera as well. But how have you found walking into the Ponds environment and seeing how they operate?
Look, it's been very good. Like, the Ponds operate at that standard, very high standard, that obviously I've come from MPL, that it's at that standard. So it's just doing our jobs in, day out. That's about it.
Ellie, I want to ask you, Tong was obviously meant to be on the podcast here tonight, but he's not available at the moment. With Victor being out and Matty having missed recent games, but he says he's back, you're going to have to change centre-back, which is tough. Because that's the position you don't really, besides goalkeeper, you don't really want to change that. So he's obviously been off, Tong, for a couple of weeks. He's back now. He's had a couple of games before finals. If you can speak on behalf of him as his coach, how's he looking? Is he feeling fresh and ready to, lead the way from the back?
Yeah, well, he's played there the last 2 weeks, done his job. He's done really good. We have conceded a goal or two, but they haven't come from anything from him. He'll probably be here soon, so if he comes in time, he might jump on. But speaking on his behalf, he feels fresh. He was playing the whole time that he was away as well, so he hasn't missed much. He came straight in, and he's a character. So he's someone likeable within the team and someone that brings the standards even higher for us when he plays.
𝙃𝙐𝙍𝙎, Harry, welcome back to the show as well. Stood out in the match of the round. You stood out in the match for all the right reasons and also for the aesthetic reasons as well. But, Ponds showed fight back after surrendering the lead to take the lead back through 𝙃𝙍𝙎 a couple of minutes later. Is that the kind of mentality you think you'll get from the Ponds boys heading into this final series as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think coming off the back of that loss to 𝙃𝙐𝙍, I think we took a lot out of it. It was probably a blessing in disguise. Probably came at the exact, the right time. So, yeah, leading into finals, I guess, going down or, obviously last week we were behind the ball. So, lots to take out from that. So I think, finals is a different ball game. So, it should be good.
Off the back of that, Blake, I'll get you to grab that mic again. Welcome back to you. Let's start talking about this 𝙃𝙐𝙍 match. A lot of sort of pre-game discussion about how they'd approach it. Such good fight back in the match of the round. You were heavily involved in that second goal, what proved to be the winning goal, of course. Did you guys approach that 𝙃𝙐𝙍 game differently to the way you approached the Eastern Creek game? Because I think people expected you to win that one.
Yeah, I think we had the same approach. I think against Eastern Creek, they didn't set up for how we approached the game. Whereas 𝙃𝙐𝙍, I think they blocked the centre of the park, they pushed us out wide. And we tend to like to go through the middle of the park. So I think we were a little bit one-dimensional against 𝙃𝙍. I think second half we made the adjustments. And then we had a lot of success second half. We kept them in their half, I think, for most of that half, but we just couldn't put it away. So I think going into the weekend, I think we just need to be able to go into that second dimension nice and early, like not having to wait till half time. And if we can make those adjustments, I think we'll get the result.
Aaron, just looking for your footballing opinion on this. I was hoping Sam would be here tonight because I was going to hit him with this, but since you're here and you're part of this, I want to hear it from you. We got to see Sam and Taylor do their thing at the base of Ponds midfield last year without you being part of the team. You've obviously played together for a number of years, won silverware in previous other associations. You came back and joined them and sort of reunited the trio, a very successful midfield trio. If you could sort of describe from a footballing perspective how you guys operate, what each person's role is, because it's very interesting tactically, and I'd love to see how you guys have developed it over the years.
I think we're all ball-playing midfielders, so we like to combine in the midfield, so we can find each other pretty easily. We've got a good movement and reading of each other, and like you said, we've played with each other for a few years, so it comes pretty naturally.
Okay, Blake. Just going back to you. Everyone has said from every team, PL1 and 2, that on their day, this Ponds team in first grade played the best football in the comp and maybe some of the best football in the entire history of the association. Certainly the recent history of it. Now, look, on a lesser scale, you've bagged against Workers already this year, but you've also bagged in a grand final. You've bagged against that Eastern Creek game that everyone and Matty Hubbard loves to quote all the time from the match of the round. So. They're coming into this game having lost on 3 penalty shootouts in a row. They come onto this game having lost Workers 3 times at this stage of the finals in a row. So in a way, I think the pressure is kind of off of their shoulders because I think people expect them to almost collapse at this point of the season. That's what history tells us. So, I ask you, with that 14-4 goal difference you have over them, do you feel like all of the pressure is on you and the Ponds boys to succeed in this game?
I feel like finals footy, you know, like you just got to get up for every game because you can go into finals footy and you often see with teams that go undefeated all year and then they start to struggle in the finals. So it's all a mindset thing. So I know workers are going to come out, they won't be thinking about the 14-4, whatever it is, goal difference that we're going into it with. They'll come in thinking they can win that game. So finals footy is just about getting up for it, which I think as a unit, if we get up for it and we play our good football, I don't think anyone can beat us.
I reckon they will be thinking about the 14-4, which might actually make them approach the game differently. Ellie, I just wanted to quickly chat to you about something. When there's less on the line with this Ponds team, at least this season, has the performance tended to drop a little bit? Because, you know, four losses this season, you know, a couple against some of the big boys. But again, you know, you already had finals secured last week, for example, and everyone's sort of saying that it wasn't the greatest performance of all time. So is it that the occasion brings the best out of the boys and that maybe they can sort of take their foot off the gas when there's not much on the line?
It's very, very hard for me to answer that because I don't know what their brains go through sometimes, to be honest. If I want to be true honest about it. Look, I know the big occasions. We've been here the last 5-6 years. You know, we've got to the final stage. We've won one, lost the last 4. We know how to get there. The boys know what they got to do the job. I know they'll get up for it. I know they'll be ready. I'll do everything in my everything I can to get them prepared for it. I'm pretty experienced at it now. We've been there before. We know what we need to do. And a lot of these boys, you know, you know, there's games, you know, where, you know, sometimes they're not at their best, but I know in finals football, they all come ready to play. I can already see the chatter. I can already see after the weekend when we lost that game, how upset we were, how everyone was already talking about what went wrong, what do we need to do, what needs to happen to fix it. So, you know, they're professionals. They'll click and they'll do what they got to do this weekend to get the result. And I'm 100% sure that we will do what we need to do to get it done.
Harry, you know, this Norwest crop that's come over obviously has had issues in the past, according to you guys, with not winning as many grand finals as you might have liked. This Ponds team, strangely, has had similar fate recently. What makes you think, and I'll probably ask you this at the start of the year, but what makes you think that this time might be different?
Yeah, I definitely think, obviously, when you think about it, a bulk of the teams from Norwest and the other half is from Ponds, and we've kind of merged together, and you look at history and we've all done the good seasons during the regular season, and obviously, you know, finals haven't gone either way for Ponds or for Norwest, say. So I think when you put that together, I think, you know, it's kind of it's a tough question to answer. I just think we got so much fuel in the fire. Like, it's obviously we got so many new players in Premier League, but we've all, you know, lived the last couple of years like the same story. Kind of fell short in the grand final, so it's more fuel in the fire, if anything. So yeah, I think when you combine that all together, like there's no excuse. You know, we've all experienced the tough times, and we've all taken the lessons now. So we know what you have to fix and what you got to do to turn up in finals, I guess. So yeah.
Matty Hubbard, you coming back next year? That's the question.
I'll answer that after the grand final, that one.
Okay.
See how we go.
We'll leave you out of that. Connor, I go to you. You've only experienced Ď𝙐𝙍𝙍𝙍, Mariong and Workers once, if not twice, in the regular season, so you're the best person to ask. You don't know what they're like in previous years. Who poses the biggest threat out of the other 3 final opponents?
That's a tough one. I'm going to have to say Mariong.
Tell me why.
They just get those grubby goals at the end. That's going to be the biggest thing we've got to watch. The second time we versed them, we dominated them. So it's just keeping our heads going for that whole 90 minutes, snatching a goal and then keeping our heads there.
Avery, I go to you. Workers, again, coming into this game having gotten a lot lower points than you guys. Again, as I mentioned before, the history in this fixture, in this first finals phase, is not a great one for them. Again, going back to sort of that pressure question I asked Blake before, in terms of you being one of the star players of the league, is this a space that you're comfortable in operating in? Do you like when the pressure is on and when the finals football is around?
Yeah, I think as a group we like the pressure. Like, I'm excited for Saturday. I think we come out when the pressure's on, so it'll be exciting, I think.
Blake, who are the best assets at Workers? You're a coach now. You can give the best kind of analysis to this, along with Ellie. What are their best, or perhaps even some of their worst features?
I think at the start of the year, I would have said the midfield. I think Workers. I like how Workers try and play football through the middle of the park, and I think they're one of the best teams at doing it when they can put that together. I think with our midfield there, it's a bit harder to play through the middle of the park, so I think that's why they maybe get into some trouble sometimes. I think their biggest assets, obviously, you got Ahmed up front. He can kind of just ping a ball from anywhere. In red hot form, probably feeling full of confidence now. You got Golden Boot as well, so I'd say Ahmed. And I'm not sure if Wixie's back, but if Wixie's there.
Yeah, not quite 100% sure about that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure we'll find out on the weekend.
He'll be playing.
Okay. Well, I know he's at Will Sparks. That's all I know for sure. And fair enough, and good luck to him. Ellie, I go to you for a bit more of a different look at that. You know how Workers have played in years gone by. They don't have a great record against you guys as well. And hearing Blake say that they're very confident playing through the middle of the park, personally, I think that would be really silly to do that against your midfield. It makes no sense because I don't think play for play, they're probably on par with you guys there. So how do you think what are you predicting as to the way that they might approach this game?
To say part on players, look, they have some good players, so got to respect what they've got out there. They've got some really good players that I watch week in, week out that I think are really good, probably haven't hit their potentials this year, and I hope they don't do that against us on the weekend. But look, it's a bit of a weird one. I've watched them a couple of games this year, and it's been a mix of different teams, different midfield. I haven't seen the same. Like I haven't seen Ibi play much this year with them, so I haven't. It's been every week it feels like a different team that's playing out there. So I'm not sure who will play against us on the weekend, but we've sort of watched their last two games, so we've sort of seen two type of midfields that played that day, a couple of different centre backs. But their main contributor has been Ahmed up top. Wixie before he got injured as well. They're both quality players. So for me, if we can mark them and keep them out of the game without saying too much about other things that we want to do, that will go a long way in getting the result for us.
You saw them last night, so obviously Benny started in goal. Bazina was playing as a centre-back as he did in the match of the round. Mackenzie was right next to him. You were watching this game with me as well. Ibi did start. Ahmed did start, got subbed off later in the game. Does that give an indication of who might start on the weekend? What was your insider trader knowledge from that game that you watched?
I don't think that'll be the team that starts. Whether they do or not, I'm not sure. I think they've got quality. Like EBD started, but then Karim didn't start, and he started the game before. Lockie Precious didn't play, and he's been starting. Taylor, the other midfield, forgot his name.
Taylor Redden.
Yeah, he didn't start. So I think he had 4 yellows. So I expect a couple of them to come back into the team. But look, we're going through tonight what we think will play. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 or 3 lineups that I think that will play. So we're going to adjust to everything and make sure we tick every box to be ready for whatever players come out, because we know it's going to be a big game. I think they'll step up for it, but we just need to go to that next level.
Well picked up on. Hubs, I go to you. With Karim and Ibi in their team and part of the coaching involvement, I imagine. Yes, obviously you've beaten them twice already when they have been part of the team. But in finals, that might change. We know what Ibi's all about, especially in finals. Karim picked up a goal in the match of the round recently. Do you think coming up against 2 players that were in your team last year is of any help to them?
Yeah, like they're both, talented footballers. My prediction is Ibi will be gone in the first 20 minutes. He'll get himself sent off. But yeah, Karim's a natural ball player, so you've got to just close him down quick and not let him pivot, and he'll cause no trouble. If once he pivots, you're gone. So, but they're both good players.
Coach Hubs. Harry, I go to you for this one. They revealed in the podcast that they've conceded a really large majority of their goals in the first 10 minutes of games. In their Polonia match of the round, that became 1 more because they conceded inside the first 10. In both games that you've played against them, you've scored inside the first 10 minutes. I think the 2nd minute when Tong scored in the most recent one, and the 5th minute in the match of the round. So you've had the ability to start early and start hot against them, and then you've gone on to do some pretty disgusting things to them on the score sheet. So is there a way that's being discussed, or maybe Ellie can jump on this after, is there something being discussed about how to start early against a team that tend to start slow?
Nothing's been mentioned, to be honest. I think, obviously, it's finals football, so if you don't start early, you're in trouble. So I think the first 15-10 minutes is going to set the tone for the game. But, yeah, nothing has been discussed in terms of first 10-15. I think it's just a given that it's finals, and obviously you've got to turn up and set the tone at the start of the game.
8 goals to be considered early in the first 10 minutes of the game in an 18-game season is pretty crazy. Have you identified that as a potential weak point?
Not sure, to be honest. Look, I think club form is comp form goes out of the window. You come this weekend, it's going to be a completely different game. The second game we played them here, they actually led 2-1 against us. So, and then we just changed something at half time, and it just worked brilliant for us. And then we went on to put 4 or 5 goals within 10-15 minutes, and the game was over. So I don't think that's going to happen again. I think finals football is different. I would love for that to happen, but I think it's going to be a much closer game. But I just, if we come ready to play, like I said again, I'm not worried about who we're playing. We know us at our best is very hard to beat. And if we come to, on Saturday playing our best football and we get beaten, I can walk away happy with that. But if we don't come and perform, that's when that's where you get upset, because we've got so much talent out there and we want to see it.
Okay, I can see knees are getting cold, so I will let you guys go soon. Connor, just penultimate question to you. You're a pretty jovial guy. I imagine as a keeper you have a lot of talk in you as well. Considering the history between these two teams and the aggregate score between you guys, again I'll say it being 14-4. Is there a world where Ponds can approach the game on the field verbally in a way that can sort of intimidate them? Is that a possibility, or is that something you don't really think about?
Something I don't really think about, really. I think if we keep our talk up and we communicate, obviously we'll be at our best. So it's just, getting around each other, keeping up our confidence. Obviously we know what the score is against them, but it's finals football. That's gone now. That was the regular season. So we just got to get up.
Right, so I'm looking for a prediction for the match of the round, if anybody's brave enough to give one.
Workers 3, Norwest 0.
Yeah, the Norwest. No, I think
Norwest 7.
I'm going to go Ponds 4-1.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that? We're happy to leave it there. Anyone brave enough?
We'll leave it at there.
We'll leave it there.
Good,
go on, Skur. No, he's happy? Okay, fantastic.
As long as we win. That's all that matters.
As long as you win. Guys, thanks very much for braving the cold and being here early before training. I really do appreciate it. I know it's about half an hour before training, so very, very much appreciated. Best of luck heading into your finals game and the rest of the final series, and give us a good show on Saturday.
Thanks for having us.
Done. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of that interview segment. I thought Ellie, the coach, had to be quiet because he's right behind me. I thought Ellie was a little less relaxed than I've seen him in previous podcast episodes. I feel like he knows that the pressure is on him with this super team to win some silverware this year. And the good thing is he's got a Resi's team and a first grade team in there. And if there's any year to do it, I think now is the time. But they're going to have to break down boundaries that they haven't proved that they can break down this year. They haven't beaten Marion, and they haven't beaten 𝙃𝙐𝙍𝙎. The good thing is they have beaten Workers. So if they can go into the first phase of the final series and come off on a high, and they'll be versing a team in the second week of finals who will be coming off of a loss. Yes, we saw what it did to 𝙃𝙐𝙎 versus Marion last year when 𝙃𝙐𝙎 pumped them and went on to win the grand final. But you never know. It's a different year. Could be different motivations heading into that one. I think 𝙃𝙐𝙎 was so pumped up last year because of the manner in which they lost their game, which is what they considered to be a contentious penalty decision against them. But every penalty against 𝙃𝙐𝙎 is contentious anyway. So that's the beauty of this sport and this level of football. Some other assessments I took away from that interview, I don't think they're scared in the slightest. I think they're excited by the opportunity to play in this. And even though we sort of asked this question, or I've asked this question every single year, when's the silverware coming? Again, I can't really prove this, but with so many players that have come from two associations that have struggled with winning grand finals, maybe this motivation's at an all-time high. And Ponds have all the pressure on them. And yeah, that might make them lift, as I've sort of just discussed. But I really think it could be a lot more competitive. I really think it will be more competitive than the match of the rounds we've seen in the past. Or at least the matchup between Workers and Ponds previously this season. Why do I think that? Not because I have a genius footballing brain. It's just what I think. It's my prediction. Anyway, don't forget, 5 p.m. at Hannah Reserve. So not the normal kickoff time at 4 p.m, 5 p.m. Not quite the late match of the round kickoff time at 7 p.m, 5 p.m. Hannah Reserve. Parking isn't great past about 4:30. Nothing against the club or the ground, but it's more just the fact that so many people are there. So get there early, bring your raincoat, bring a jumper, bring all those things. And can somebody please bring a four-wheel drive with a pulley so that I can get the scissor lift onto the cricket pitch this time without getting stuck in the mud, because that was extremely embarrassing last year and I wouldn't want that to happen again. Anyway, look, you guys know how it is. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the match of the round interviews, what you thought Workers' vibe was, what you thought Ponds' vibe was. What are your predictions for the final series? What's your prediction specifically for this match of the round? I'll tell you what mine is. Kidding. My name is Mark DePoli. Cue the outro music. But it's fallen here towards oh my word. And now played and struck and in. Further forward now to Ryan Dominici wants a second goal. Isabel Webb should have a second goal and finishes with ease.